What is going on, ladies? Ow! 10 out of 10. That clap was fantastic. Anyway, today we are continuing my quest to try every single grip module for the P365. We have a grip from Mirzon today. Not only the 365 back there on the wall somewhere right there. You see that little peanut butter one? That's for my Sig P320. We do have a discount code for Mirzon. So as I go through this, if it is your jam and you want to pick one up, code is Tiberious. Saves you 10%. All right, let's get into the grip. These grips are made from polymer, and this particular one is the X size grip. That means the slide you're gonna need is either the XL size slide or the X macro size slide. What I have on here is the slide for the standard P365 with a comp from Parker Mountain Machine. The comp and the standard slide end up making it the same length as the XL size, just so you know. As far as your magazines, you're either gonna need a 12 round or a 17 round magazine for the P365. What I have, big sad, is this is the same size as the 12 round magazine, but it's pinned only to hold 10 rounds. That's sad, but that's what I have. As far as your colors, this is available in 5 different colors. They have black one, starts at $99, and they have 4 or 5 different Cerakote colors. This is one of the bronzes. I believe it's burnt bronze. The Cerakote colors are $20 more. Magwell. On the outside of the grip, it doesn't have a big magwell, which is what I want on a carry gun. I don't want that magwell printing, but the inside of the magwell is flared quite nicely, so when you're at the range doing your cool guy Neo Mag exchanges, it'll help get those magazines in. The thing I like the most about the grip is going to be the shape and the texture. It has a very generous palm swell, and in my hands it feels fantastic. Besides the shape that I like, the grip texture is very good, and I struggle to think of a way of how to explain this grip texture to you that would make sense if you don't feel it. It doesn't feel like skateboard tape, but it still feels very good. It's grippy without being very aggressive. Like, the gun doesn't really jump much when you're shooting it. The only way I can think of describing it is kind of like the Glock factory grip, but on steroids. You know how, like, when you feel the grip factory, it doesn't feel very aggressive? This is similar to that, but it's a lot more grippier than the Glock texture. And I hope all that makes sense, because that's like the only way I can really explain it to you. I'm sorry. The mag release, 2 things with the magazine release. Yes, it does drop the mags freely as you would want, and it does come with the mag release. Some of these grips don't. This one does come with the mag release, so you don't need to swap mag releases and do all that stuff. All right, before we get into the rest of the features on the grip, let me quickly thank Natchez. Natchez is the biggest supporter of my channel, and I like to thank them in every single video. They don't have any grip modules, but hunting, fishing, camping, lots of reloading, pews, optics, anything else you need for your blaster, they have it, and they're always having good deals. The link is you know where, and thank you to Natchez. All right, moving on. The trigger guard has a decent little undercut to help you get a little bit higher on the gun. You'll see the bottom of the trigger guard, the front of the trigger guard, and then both sides of the gun where your trigger finger would rest or the thumb on your support hand. They have some serrations. They don't have the same texture as the grip, but they're just some serrations, more of like a memory notch, just to keep just to remind yourself where your trigger finger should be and the thumb on your support hand should be when you're shooting. That's what those serrations are for. The rail on the gun is not a proprietary rail like the Sig factory grip. It is a 1913 rail. I put a Streamlight TLR7 on here. It fit no problem. And most other smaller lights, I'm guessing, will work as well. The last real feature I want to mention to you guys is the beaver tail. It has a pretty aggressive, pretty good beaver tail, so if you have really big hands with a small gun, you shouldn't be getting any slide bite with the very generous beaver tail. Again, as far as the price, I know I said it earlier, the black one's a hundo, the other colors are $120, and that's before that code that I mentioned earlier. Before I get into the testing, I want to compare this grip to a few other grips. Now, we're not going to compare it to any of the metal grips because those are 3, 4, 5 times the price, and that's not fair. Let's compare it to some of the other polymer grips. The Sig factory grip, I like this Mirzon grip more than the Sig factory grips, just the shape and the feel and the standard rail. Sig has the laser cut grips. Those are really nice, but they are like $50, $60 more, $70, whatever, more than this grip. So for that, I would definitely take this. As far as the Wilson Combat grip, I would definitely take this over the Wilson Combat polymer grips. Not a huge fan of those. The Strike Industries was another polymer grip that I reviewed recently. This is definitely a little bit nicer, but that Strike Industries grip is very nice for a more affordable grip. If you don't want to spend the 100, 120, if you want something a little less, the Strike Industries is not quite as nice, but they bring the value. The only polymer grip off the top of my head that I can think of that is in the same area as this one is going to be the Icarus grip. The Icarus polymer grip is extremely nice. So there's a couple differences. The Icarus polymer grip, as of right now, is only available for the X Macro, and it's a little bit more expensive. This is a little less expensive, and it's available for the XL size grip slides. So I do like the Icarus a little bit more, just the feel and the shape and the texture, and that speed ledge makes a big difference. But they're both very good grips, probably the two best polymer grips for the P365. You just gotta choose if you're willing to spend the extra money and if you want the X Macro or the XL, and you get the idea. All right, let's chat about the testing a little bit. I brought this to the range 4 or 5 times. I put a few hundred rounds through it. I did a lot of conceal carry type drills because it's a small conceal carry grip module. Lots of drawing from the holster. Lots of magazine exchanges, a bunch of conceal carry drills. I try to keep them as realistic as possible. Like, I did some drills where I was sitting down in a chair to make it like, hey, I'm sitting in a restaurant, or I'm sitting at church, or sitting wherever, and something happens and I have to respond to it. Did a lot of moving and shooting, which is not always realistic, but I like to practice some moving and shooting on the move if I ever need to. All conceal carry type drills, no problems, no issues. Before I tell you the pros, I want to mention the holster stuff as well. I had several holsters made for the Icarus Precision grip. Those all worked fine. I don't know if this is going to work in a holster made for the factory Sig grip. That I don't know, but the ones I had for the Icarus locked in perfectly, especially the ones that were light bearing as well. Anyway, the biggest pro for me, I'm gonna say the shape of the grip feels really good. I like that. The texture is good. I like that. It has a standard 1913 rail, which is dope. The color is good, and if you have big hands, that generous beaver tail will be generous to you. I didn't have that problem. The only thing I would change, and this is not a major deal, is the serrations on the side. They're good to keep you, remind you where your trigger finger and your thumb should be. I would rather see this grip texture on the side instead of those serrations. This grip texture is pretty dope, and I would like to see that on the side instead of the serrations. But there may be a little speed ledge as well. I've come to love those little ledges, but that's it. The one thing I want to give you a heads up on is the Cerakote version. Obviously, they make the grip and then apply the Cerakote after, and that adds a layer. So getting in that FCU is a little tight. I didn't have to beat it with a hammer or anything like that, but it was a little tight. It kind of had to push and jam it in there just to give you a heads up. I don't think that's a big deal, but I wanted to quickly mention it. Overall, I do like this grip a lot. I think if you're not willing and able to spend the $300, $400, $500, $600 on a metal grip, which I totally understand, and you want to go the polymer grip, again, this is one of the nicer polymer grips that are currently available on the market. If you wanted to upgrade your grip on your P365 and get something a little bit nicer. Okay, that's all I got for you. I think this should be a pretty quick video. Let me thank Mirzon. They did send this P365 and that P320 grip. I'll do the review on that P320 grip when I get some more rounds on it. Let me remind you that discount code Tiberious save you a few bucks. Make me a few bucks. Everyone is happy. Nacha is the biggest supporter of my channel. Thank you to Nacha for being the biggest supporter of my channel. More important than anything, any of that, thank you for watching. I truly mean it. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you think I deserve it, click that subscribe button. We got a long way to go to hit 100,000 subs, and I need every single subscribe I can get. So thank you for watching. Be good, stay blessed. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.